Well, then we got to talk about Draymond Green and reducing his minutes and the possibility of him coming off the bench for the sake of the betterment of the team. We've got to find out what works best for the Golden State Warriors.
You're signaling out that the decrease in minutes
is because you're not as good as you once were.
They're not ready to have that conversation, I don't believe.
Well, you know what?
And I know for a fact.
But Dre, look, nobody's saying they got to get rid of you. And nobody's saying they should trade you. But what we're saying is, maybe instead of playing 30 minutes a night, you only play 22 to 24.
It doesn't feel that way.
Well, but you're getting up there, my main man. And
this should bother you.
I would think that if you play in a little shorter stretches and maybe not as much altogether, you might be able to play with more energy when you're out on the floor. Is that just a ridiculous take?
It's the most ridiculous take I've heard.
Committed to
You know
winning.
what I've done and what I mean to this organization? And the bottom line, mister.
I didn't really
go get
want
Curry
you to
stuff.
be him.
Oh, okay. I look now.
But
I'm acting.
you can.
It'll never happen. Just give me that. Your reaction to.
I think it's going. I think it will happen this year.
You think we're this year?
Yeah, I think Draymond will come off the bench this year at some point.
Wow.
I don't know for how long, but it feels like the next logical thing for Steve Kerr to do. Well, then we got to talk about Draymond Green and reducing his minutes and the possibility of him coming off the bench for the sake of the betterment of the team. We've got to find out what works best for the Golden State Warriors. Like, that's what this should all be about.
I got a question for you. So before they made that tough decision, before Klay Thompson got up out of here, and these are different circumstances, just think about the calls we would take, the agony in fans' voices that wanted that switch, and think how many bullets they got in front of as an organization. As Steve Kerr said, I'm not doing that. And I bring that up, Steiny, is because do you think, like, where would you mirror where Dre's at compared to where Klay was at, but he still had his starting spot? I don't think they think Dre is anywhere close to where Klay was even before they made that move. Like Klay, and I love you, he had to really fall off for it to be obvious to everybody, okay, we got to bring him off the bench. I don't think we're there with Dre. If you have a basketball and astute basketball conversation and observation, I get it. I'm there. But, Steiny, think about what you're asking the once big three, big two now to do, and that's Dre come off the bench and admit the reason we're bringing you off the bench is there's been a drop in production.
I mean, hello, welcome to the NBA. Welcome to players getting older. You don't get to play 35 minutes when you're 40 years old if you're not good anymore. And so they got to figure it out with Draymond Green. And the other thing is if by figuring out, or what I mean by if figuring out means everything just stays the same, then which everything stays the same.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that would be...
And that's by choice, though, Steiny.
Well, I mean, I just don't understand how you can have a coach that's basically saying he's trying everything under the sun. Oh, but we're not going to try one thing because we're afraid of a guy. Like that, you can't do that. Would you ever consider bringing Draymond Green off the bench?
I could hear his answer now, like, no.
Okay, why not?
He means too much to us. And there's a lot of stuff you guys aren't seeing that's like going on out there.
Now he can be Kerr. Like what?
Energy, heart, passion.
Okay, those things have all dropped off.
Dude,
like,
I
seriously.
can't tell you. Dude, come on, man. I get where you're at, but they're not there yet, and that's what matters.
And I think they're going to get there.
Now, what if I say they only held on to the game because that lead squandered because Dre wasn't out there? There's two ways to look at it.
All I'm saying is the idea, and I've been questioning it for a while, the idea that this team can't function without Draymond is such an insult to the rest of the team. Wow. And it's a real big insult, too, I think, to Steph. Because there's some...
Is he taking it that way? And that's what I think he's not.
Well, the implication is that Steph needs Draymond. And
Remember, you and
It's
I got
way the other
into
way
it when I
around.
said I wanted to rip the mics out like that was an insult to the chef. But people back then, it was a year or two ago, were coming down my road like, I'm like, no, we're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it at his position, one of the greatest shoot-eyes ever. How dare you say Dre? Now, the flip side is 110%.
Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is Draymond Green absolutely has helped Steph Curry over the course of his career.
Then I'm not
There's
saying
no
he
doubt
did.
about it. He's just
But he did. Steph would be
but he's not
Steph
doing
without
it anymore.
Dre.
He's not doing it anymore.
I got you.
Like,
What?
Draymond's
Okay.
not doing it anymore as much, clearly. So I don't know why. Forget coming off the bench. Why would limiting Draymond Green's minutes to 24 instead of 29? Like, why would that cause a scene with the Warriors?
Ego, and you're you're signaling out that the decrease in minutes
is because you're not as good as you once were.
They're not ready to have that conversation. I don't believe.
Well, you know what?
And I know for a fact.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How?
Because the dude at every turn has got his way. They were so afraid to suspend the dude after knocking his teammate in the face, which you'll have to live with forever. I'm bringing up old stuff, but we'll start there. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but
are you surprised at anything else from the organization in regard to Dre after that? Sometimes I talk to and check myself strong on, I call myself a fool because that happened on their watch. So why would you think they're going to go to him and say, you need to sit down 5 to 8 minutes and let the writers in The Athletic and all the beat talk shows and 95.7 The Game just roast you about your reduced role? They're not going to subject him to that. He's bigger than that. And he's earned that, and I can't hate.
No player.
I know I get
any
this.
level,
I'm just telling you what it is.
No player at any level should be guaranteed minutes if they're not deserving of them. It's really that simple. And I see what you're doing here, and you're probably onto something.
Yeah, I don't want to be right.
But I think we're past that. In the last year, where Draymond Green was talking about how committed he was to this organization and how he thinks so highly of it that he does think it's his responsibility to say something like, let's not make the Markkanen trade because that'll leave us in a really bad place after we leave. And you know what? I want to leave this place in a good spot.
That happened. Wow.
But now you want to leave it in a good spot, but you're not willing to come off the bench? Like, what are we doing?
Man, and you just said something, man. You said Jimmy had more space to operate. You can't tell me that. I saw it.
So Kuminga can be traded. If Draymond Green is concerned about the future, why wouldn't you go to Draymond Green and say, hey, look, I'm going to start Kuminga for the next 3 weeks. You know it, and I know it. We got to figure out what we're doing with this guy. You're not playing well. You're not scoring. You're not doing much offensively. We're going to give Jonathan a crack at it for the next 3 weeks. The timing's perfect. If something happens by then, we'll deal with it. If not, maybe we'll go back to you. But, hey, you want to do something good for the organization? Let's give Kuminga one last crack at it here, Draymond. You willing to sacrifice a little bit? I am absolutely positively spitballing here, but the idea that this guy's untouchable, I get it. He might be untouchable in a trade,
all right,
but not for the reason most people think. I don't think he's got a lot of value.
Yeah, and Hubie Brown, or rest in peace to the great Jerry West. They could walk through that door, and Steiny, I don't believe from a basketball standpoint they can make an argument that we're wrong about what we're seeing and what we would like. Like, I'm liking Guy Santos next to Jimmy Butler. There's something there. And I know it's faster. So could anybody just tell us, and even for the fans, the ones that are writing in, that what we want to see and compared to what we're seeing are not like Steiny, I feel like he's dragging the offense down. They know it. He doesn't have to be guarded. So how can the organization kind of maybe it's headed in that direction? Who knows?
Is it really slanderous to say
No, it is.
go from 28, 29 minutes to 24?
If we're keeping it real and we know what we know about Draymond,
Then we're in a clown show.
No,
we are. If we can't suggest that Draymond Green at 36 years old might want to take a slight reduction in minutes, and that's off the table, like, honestly, that's a joke.
But you really are not talking to us. You're talking to the FO over there, Warrior Way. Because they're the one, and you know this.
So do you think they can keep playing like this with Draymond playing like this and just continue to roll like this?
No, I don't.
I don't either. So
I think it's why your record's where you're at. It's part of it.
I think so too. And
but you're acting like it's nothing, though.
It is nothing. It's nothing.
No, the process of telling and delivering the news.
Like, you act as though like you're
tell me.
He's going to go to his cache of firearms. I mean, Draymond, you're 36. We're bringing you off the bench. It's not that hard.
Nobody over there to deliver that message, Steiny.
So
I'm being real.
Do you believe if they thought it was the best thing for the organization, they still wouldn't do it?
No, I know so. We're watching and living it.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Steiny, the only time they ever did it was the finals when they sat them down a little bit.